I'm going to call the standing committee meeting for Parks and Rec ready, and
I do have a spare copy right there, too, sorry. No, there's 2 copies right in front of you. I was saying he can have.
There you go. Okay, I'm Councilor Carney for the cameras, Councilor Green, and I'm joined with Councilor Paniagua. And I guess get started.
I'm Julie LaFave, Commissioner of Parks and Recreation for the City of Syracuse. I want to start with 2 items just because I have 2 people here. So 2 of the council items, actually, it's 2 items in here, but the actual request is on 1 sheet of paper. We are requesting bonded funds for 2 capital equipment purchases, 1 for a bucket truck and 1 for an ice resurfacer, or, I mean, a Zamboni is the brand name, so ice resurfacer. So if you have any questions about those 2 purchases or 2 equipment purchases, I do have people here who can answer questions for them if you'd like.
I'm sorry, what's the second one? You said bucket.
Ice resurfacer, which most people refer to as a Zamboni on an ice rink. The bucket truck, we're replacing one that was purchased in '99, so it has quite a few miles on it.
And the ice resurfacer, is that for a specific rink, or is that going to travel around to several rinks? Are we replacing one at a specific rink that we have?
Do we have it set scheduled?
The rink with the 2
Come up to the microphone, though. Sorry, Joe.
The rink with the 2 oldest, well, two oldest machines, one's a 2002 and one's a 1978, is at Clinton Square. And that's probably one of our busiest as far as doing cuts, so that's where it would go.
Okay.
And then one of the ones from Clinton Square would go to another rink for a backup.
Okay.
Any questions? And then if you have any bucket truck questions. Bucket truck obviously is used by our forestry division. It is used for other city functions as well as needed, but it is mostly a forestry function. Any questions about those ones? Okay. Thank you. Okay, next I'm requesting permission to apply for a Kaboom grant. I will technically have to apply for this before the deadline, just in order if Syracuse wants to be considered. But this is for a community build playground. This is the first page on there. Community build playground. Kaboom comes in. The city's contribution is $8,500, which I have existing capital accounts, which I would like to use for it, but I don't want to allocate it until we know that we've been given that grant. But Kaboom would come in with their playground designer. We would do 2 community engagement meetings, and then it's a community build playground slated right now for June, where members of the community would actually do the install, just like you've seen on TV or any of those, or actually the show Parks and Rec. And the playground that we have right now is Norwood Park, that I would like to do the application for. Norwood Park has an extremely outdated playground. Eastwood as a whole does not have a lot of playgrounds. They don't have anything updated, and I do think that's a good neighborhood that we could get a lot of volunteers from to participate in the build, which is a critical aspect of the application.
What's the process of having individuals? I mean, I think it's a good idea in theory of having people from the community put it together. They feel,
They have certified playground installers on site to make sure that everything is done according to code. We, as our staff, we have a certified playground safety inspector as well, who has that certification. So everything is done. They make sure that everything is safe.
And obviously, I would assume we're liable if anyone is injured.
Yes, I did do my part and reach out to other Parks and Rec departments across the nation, and I got overwhelmingly positive feedback from it.
Okay.
So if this, are you done?
Oh yeah.
If the city, thank you. If the city contributes $8,500, how much is Kaboom and the grant contributing?
So it's an in-kind sponsorship, so they would actually provide the actual playground, the engineered wood fiber, or the wood chips that go at the bottom of it for the surfacing. They provide all of that. Okay. And there's no dollar value on that per se.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, depends on the size of the playground.
And then if you don't get the grant, then there's no project.
Correct. There's no cost to apply. Okay. The next item is just permission to allow us authorized payment to Lamar. We do this annually, not to exceed $1,000. This is for us to promote our big events. Generally, it's Big Rig Day, and that's the event in May at Burnett Park where youth can come and honk the horns and play in the large vehicles. The next item, which you skipped the first purchase one, this is permission for us to accept a donation from Price Chopper up to $2,600. They do this. This is an annual donation they give to us as well, and it covers sponsorship for our various special events throughout the year.
Okay.
The next one about amending an ordinance. We have, as you're aware, we have an annual account for Wegmans to purchase miscellaneous last-minute items. We have an ordinance that was approved for up to $5,000. We had a few unexpected. We've done a lot of public engagement. We've done a lot of extra events this year that were unanticipated. So we would like to request to increase that dollar amount from $5,000 to $7,500.
So it's not that Wegmans was more expensive than Walmart and we weren't allowed to use Walmart because that got voted down? I'm curious because when I got the email, it's that we've done more, not that it's more expensive.
But it's true that we have done more. We've done we had.
The VMC?
We are still using them, yes. We have a current contract under a different ordinance for services this year.
Okay.
But this is just to amend last year's. Next item is we would like to approve the last renewal period of a contract with Noratech City Reporter. This is the software that we use to track all of our playground inspections, which now that we have a newly certified CPSI, Certified Playground Safety Inspector, he is coming up with a very strict rotation schedule to make sure all of our playgrounds are regularly inspected.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm aware of an unnamed playground that's made of steel where people from parks were looking at it and concerned about its condition or what goes into the playground inspection, because it's like
Playground inspection. Okay.
This one's old, but it's made of steel. Like I can't imagine almost anything on it breaking anytime soon. Like even if it's rusted, I am talking in my backyard.
But, so what's okay? So what goes into a playground safety inspection? So
I just fear that we're going to label a whole bunch of playgrounds as not great and remove them and not have the money to replace them. That would be my worst fear.
So, okay, but the other part is, are we negligent in not looking at hazards that we know exist?
I know, but that's
So
where,
I've taken the certification course myself.
What do they teach you to look at?
I've had the certification myself. So you're looking at the safety surfacing, you're looking at the fall zones around it, meaning if a child jumps, are they going to land in cement, or is the surfacing going out far enough? It's looking for entanglement hazards, choking hazards. If something like this, if I go down a slide and there's a big old crack in it, is it going to choke me? It's looking for things like that, or the space between areas. It's looking at a lot of those things. I mean, paint chipping and things like that, not that that's not a hazard, but it's more like a stretched O-ring or an S-ring, S-loop, things like that, or if the bucket of the swing is a safety hazard. So it's looking at things that we can, all of
like
those
design elements that have changed
and
over
all
time.
of those we
Okay,
can
'cause when they were
we can
expressing-
order replacement pieces for all of those. So it's not a software designed for us to say, oh, not complying, get rid of it. It's looking for us to identify either bad hardware on there that needs to be replaced, or actually, I mean, you can replace almost any single piece on a
Right.
playground.
Right.
So yeah, or it's even just the in Elwood Park, I think we're missing the signage saying this is a 2 to 5 playground or a age 5 to 12 playground. So it's even looking at the signage. But it's not. Its goal is to not.
Well, like the
shut them down
signage there is
completely.
actually signage from the manufacturer.
They have to be.
Oh, that always has to be there from whoever.
Because there's
made it.
different playground manufacturers, and they want because if there's any issues, they want you to go to Miracle Rec or to Landscape Architects, whoever designs the playgrounds.
Oh, I see. Okay, those reasons all sound
Yes.
great.
We're not going into it but it will help us prioritize, because we are in my 2 years here, we have been replacing playgrounds. It will help us prioritize which ones truly are the most hazardous, so that we put them at the top of the list.
This may seem ridiculous, but they are expensive playgrounds. So, like for the fire department, they made a list of their fire trucks, and they put their, like when they purchased it, the current mileage, how much mileage they expect to get of it, when they expect to retire it, and that way we can make a plan of replacement. It almost seems like we.
So
need
we've
some type
started.
of-
So we've started doing that. We have an employee who's already putting together a full playground inventory. She actually has a full list of. I don't know if she has the year, so that'll be the next step in the process, the year. But it'll say this is a 2 to 5 playground, this is a 5 to 12 playground, and then the next step will be these playground inspections. So we can say, okay, this one had 27 items cited, this one had 5, so obviously this one, and these ones are more critically dangerous. So that is the next step in the process for us to do something similar to what the fire department is doing.
Okay, that sounds good.
So this software just tracks the playground specifically, right?
It's specifically playground safety software.
Obviously, this isn't something for next year, but in the long-range planning, does it exist to have like an asset management software that does the entire park? So like the benches and other stuff like that? And is that something we should be looking at?
I do think it is something we should look into right now, just because of the time. And I hate that we use that just because of the timing, because I know that's a big thing. But no, I do think that there's other systems out there that we can use for this. I will do my part because I think there's better options out there. Those are all my items.
Okay. Unless there are any more questions, those are all ready.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Meeting adjourned.
What's next?
I got here just in time.
Just in time.
In time for what?
12:30.
Is there anything else after this?
Is it yours is 1:30? 1:30?
Okay, yes.
Now that I have you, I do have something going.
Breathe.
Yeah.
How's your back? You
Yeah.
cut your hair.
Better. Yeah. Come on here. Yeah, back's okay. Hey,
Good.
you hurt your back? I like that tweet. Yeah, I threw it out the other day.